I thought I was ready till I had to go through it. I don't think anybody's ever ready for IVF. My name is Caitlin Stoss, and I'm 25 years old. I'm married for 3 years, and I have a 2.5-year-old Bailey. I am currently 22 weeks. After I had my son, I wound up having 2 ectopic pregnancies. I wound up having severe stabbing pains in my stomach and severe bleeding for about a month, and the doctors kept misdiagnosing me. I had a hospital contact me saying it was an emergency, that I had to go in for all these ultrasounds and blood work because they picked up that I was pregnant. I had an internal rupture, and I went in for emergency surgery that night. It lasted about 2 hours. I stopped breathing 4 times. Then when I woke up, they confirmed that it was an ectopic, that I was about 12 weeks along. So just as soon as I found out I was pregnant was as soon as I wasn't anymore. And now my fallopian tube was also gone. So, and the doctors kept telling me, don't worry, it's not gonna affect your fertility at all. This happens a lot where people lose a tube and still have kids. So I gave up for a while. I needed time to mentally focus. I went back to work. We finally moved back to the area with my family in the Lehigh Valley, and we decided, okay, we're in a good spot financially. We'll try again. I've had some time to mentally recuperate, and we went to California for our anniversary, came home. All my pregnancy tests were positive, so we were super excited. I went in to get a blood count from the doctors, and they called and told me it's negative. From the beginning, it was already not a positive experience because every voicemail, I had to go in every 2 days for blood work. And every voicemail was, don't get excited. Keep in mind, this is not a normal pregnancy. We don't know what's happening with this. You're at risk for another ectopic. I get to 6 weeks pregnant and have the stabbing pains in my stomach again. Like, it literally feels like somebody's taking a knife to my stomach. Couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't eat, was vomiting. And I immediately knew what was gonna happen. They took an ultrasound, couldn't find the baby anywhere in the uterus. I sat there for hours and just cried. I told everybody to go home because I already knew it was gonna happen. I lost both tubes, both babies, and the doctor looked at me before even going in for surgery to confirm that it was an ectopic and said, regardless of if we find the baby in the tube or not, you now are not going to be able to touch anything but IVF in your future. You're guaranteed IVF if you ever want another child. I wasn't the same person after that. I was missing half of my reproductive organs, which makes you feel like less of a woman in a sense. There's just so many changes you need to make in your everyday life before you even get into finances and medication. And then once you're on the medication, you have to go in every 2 days for ultrasounds, blood work. You know, it gets strenuous. Then you have to go in for actual surgery to take all your eggs out. You have everything from injections to oral tablets to topical creams to needles. In a 1.5-month time period, I was stabbed 170 times. My total for ultrasounds, blood work, the retrieval, transfer, out-of-town monitoring was about $16,000, and that's without my medications. Most people pay $35,000 to $56,000 total after ultrasounds and blood work, everything. I think my first biggest constraint was the emotional barrier of knowing I will never naturally be able to get pregnant. I will never naturally be able to surprise my husband with that, like, guess what? We're having another baby. Like, you can't surprise your friends, your family. It is such an intrusive procedure for such a private part of your life that most people don't really share with anyone until it happens. But because medically they're so involved, so is everybody else. When I found out the treatments worked, I was so happy and excited, but at the same time, I was terrified. There is always the risk of something happening. There is no security with your happiness when you have to go through fertility treatment, because you never know if something's gonna go wrong. You don't ever want your happiness ripped away from you, and it's happened to me on multiple occasions. IVF is not accessible for everybody. It is actually a rare percentage. So, physically, financially, emotionally, it's not everybody can do it. It is very difficult. Even when they give you the rundown on paper of what IVF entails, it is nothing compared to actually going through it. I would recommend it, but only if you absolutely need it and you have tried everything else and you have no other option. I lost a lot of time with my family. I was doing a job that I absolutely hated just for the financial gain. I spent weekends away, including Mother's Day, just so I could work doubles. When we lost both, it really took a toll on our marriage and just our family, because it puts a hole in your heart. I really believe that IVF is such a blessing. It is truly incredible, the things that they can do with science. There's so many incredible things that they could do, and just watching it is mind-blowing. You hear about it, but when you actually see the things that they are doing for people, it's incredible. Like, they're reconstructing some people's reproductive organs just to make it where they can carry a baby. It's really just an incredible process to watch and be a part of. It's weird. As much as everything that I've been through hurts and it was difficult to go through, I am so almost honored to be a part of it, because this is still science in the making. Like, their whole process is just getting more and more in depth, and they are perfecting it to a T. Bane is more excited than anybody else about this pregnancy. He starts his morning by lifting my shirt up to rub his baby sister and give her kisses, and he says hi to her, and he holds my belly to feel her, and he's probably more excited than anybody else. I'm just so excited for him to not be alone anymore. Now that I've hit past the 20-week mark, I love feeling all the kicks, and you can totally tell the difference in the baby's personality just in their activity in your stomach. So it is extremely exciting. It really is. It's not all dark and gloomy. It's a difficult process, but at the end of the day, I'm so happy that it actually worked and that I'm holding on to this one. When I think about when I finally have her and my son gets to hold her, it's gonna be like the missing piece. That's what the IVF process has given me.